If you do not plan for the long term, you limit your success. Period. Life is long until you die. There are so many people that I've talked to that have told me, oh, I wish I could have did this, or I should have done this, or these are the regrets that I live with now, don't do that stuff. That I think to myself, what in the world are the young people doing? Not setting goals that will last longer than 4 years, longer than 5 years. Well, what they're really doing is limiting their potential. If you do not set goals that will last you your lifetime, you will naturally end up wasting a significant part of your life, a significant chunk of time that could be utilized to manifest the life that you want to live. Now, setting long-term goals is difficult because you need to sit down and find some time, some arrested time, to really dig into what you want to get out of this life. You need to have conversations with people about the topics that you consider important to you. And you need to believe that you actually are someone that's going to make a difference in your life. That you are the catalyst of a beautiful life that you deserve to live. So difficult setting long-term goals, but a very important indicator for a successful life. Now, setting long-term goals takes some time. It's going to take some time because I remember, for instance, the only long-term goal that I ever had when I was growing up was to be a pillar in my society. Some place that people can go to for hope or for wisdom. And the reason I had this long-term goal was because my father displayed these qualities. My mother displayed these qualities. And when my father passed away when I was 9 years old, that lack made me believe that that's something that I should fulfill. And even now, to this day, the stories that I hear about my father, about the friends that my father had, the effect on people my father had, they inspire me to be a better person, to be more loving, to be more funny, to be more caring, and have some prowess in life, right? Some skill to offer. And so my ability to set long-term goals was leapfrogged because of a significant loss I had in my life. And that's something that most people don't have. Evan Carmichael, the creator of Believe, he talks a lot about the fact that for someone to do something large in their life, that they need to have some sort of acute pain that has occurred in their life to spur them to action, to make them believe that, hey, this world isn't perfect and potentially I can do something about it. So yes, that is a big gap. That is a big obstacle for beginning to set long-term goals. If you haven't struggled or had significant loss in your life, you're probably not going to have as much inspiration to set these long-term goals because things have been more or less dandy for you. Now, my argument against that is no. Everyone goes through pain. Life is not supposed to be easy for anyone, period. The more challenging life is, the more satisfying it is. Because when we beat those challenges, when we persist and overcome the difficult things, then we can say to ourselves, we have hope. Or when we see someone else overcoming these obstacles, when we see someone else really pushing past their boundaries and their capabilities, we're like, wow, we got hope for life. And that hope is so important because that hope, like in my father's case, or like in pain in general, is what gives us the fuel to set long-term goals. And when I say long-term goals, I hinted at this earlier, it doesn't mean a goal that you set for the next 5 years. Education has the unintended consequence of setting goals for people that they don't necessarily set for themselves. For a while, I thought that education should be fixed in every fundamental way. And I realized that this came from a stance of privilege, because I have had the opportunity to be educated in a lot of really, really affluent and high achieving schools, because the virtue of my mom and moving a lot. And so by being in those systems, I can, as a privileged person, I could say, oh no, this is how these systems need to improve. What I forgot to notice is that without the education, right, being on a completely opposite end, without the education, people are going to be a lot more ignorant about how life works, right? About just basic sciences, basic mathematics, social studies, history, like things that have occurred in the past that you can learn from. So education's super, super, super important. Just a baseline education that a large percentage of a country is standardized in, that connects people. Super important. However, by virtue of the education system, in America at least, being built into 4-year chunks, is a really simple way to convince people that they don't need to set their own goals. And the reason I say this is because every 4 years something is lined up for you. And everyone in that system is going to be someone that's thinking to themselves, how am I most efficiently going to utilize this 4 years to get to the next 4 years, right? And that mentality kind of builds this kind of block by block basis. And then you get to a point in your life where you have a career, where you're completely out of school, and you don't know how to set goals for yourself. Because there is no track that just works anymore, right? You figure out that life isn't fair. You figure out that, oh my goodness, all of this time that we've wasted actually has consequences. That the people that didn't end up wasting that time, they're doing this crazy other stuff that we could have been doing, but that we just didn't spend the time because we didn't make the goals to make happen. So, if you are in a situation where you have been subconsciously programmed to believe that you don't need to set your own goals, I'm here to wake you up. You need to set your own goals. You need to have hope for the future. And this hope is going to be derived from how deeply you have experienced life already. That means that if you feel that you have not experienced life as deeply as you could, go and find experiences that will make you experience life deeply. If you haven't fallen in love before, go try to fall in love with someone or love something, right? If you haven't failed properly, if you haven't taken a big enough risk in your life, go take a risk. Because the pain that's going to come with that is going to give you the fuel to make your life exactly the way that your soul intends, to actualize your potential, your purpose in your life. Having long-term goals, and I'll say this again, having long-term goals is one of the firm indicators of success. And long-term goals are not 4 and 5 years. Long-term goals are 20 plus years. Something that's really going to take your attention and time and energy to make happen. A consistent effort towards something. That's something that I'm embarking on currently, and it's something that I've been enjoying deeply, because in a world where it seems like you can get basically everything that you want out of just sitting home on a screen, there is tremendous depression that can come from doing that without purpose. And I'm sure I'm going to go back and listen to that statement later, but it's a fact, right? Like, you can sit at home all day and get what you want out of life. But if you don't have something that you're moving towards, then you're no different than a computer, right? Just doing its operation again and again. And what makes life really beautiful, really exciting, is novelty. Novelty. And your whole life can be novel. It actually is, just by virtue of you being an individual with a brain, with a completely different socioeconomic upbringing, and a completely different philosophy on life. It's just a matter of utilizing that time, that potential, to go and make your life even cooler, even more novel. So set a goal. Try to set one goal. One goal that will last you the rest of your life. Something that really matters to you. And go every day towards that goal. Every day. And I promise you, your life will transform like this. Within a week, if you can do that, your life will transform. And once you get it, don't ever let it go. Don't ever let it go. In this video right here, I talk about strategies for never letting it go. Super important that you build habits that align with what you're trying to accomplish in this world. So go check it out. I'll see you over there. And remember, I make these videos to help you actualize your potential. Take care.